Hey Physique Freaks, how's it going? Scott Tuzana, MetabolicMasterpiece.com, here with another full week of eating update. Down another pound this week, so I'm going to share every meal that I ate to help me achieve that goal, as well as some insights into the overall experience. We're going to kick things off with Sunday, February 12th. Started the day with the ultimate breakfast for us bros. 3 extra large eggs cooked in a little bit of coconut oil, some mushrooms, onions, a red pepper, yellow pepper, and 6 ounces of steak. Phenomenal way to start my day. Had a little bit of steak left over, so had 3 ounces of that later on in the afternoon with just a little bit of ketchup. Dinner was absolutely incredible. I think Angie got this recipe off Pinterest. I had 10 ounces of steak. There's a lightly breaded there, and the topping was a honey garlic sauce that had some sesame seeds on it. Had some broccoli on the side, as well as a little bit of rice. Total calories for the day was right around 2,000, so a great way to kick off this full week of eating. Monday, February 13th, first meal I had was a pre-workout shake, the 1 cup of kefir, 1 scoop of protein powder, some spinach, and mixed berries. Post-workout was 175 grams of plain Greek yogurt, 1 scoop of protein powder, and 140 grams of mixed berries. Meal number 3, dinner, was 8 egg whites, 2 extra large eggs, cooked in a little bit of coconut oil, had 6 tater tots, and an ass load of broccoli. Topped the eggs off with a little bit of ketchup. Later on in the day, had one of my favorite little snacks, some smoked salmon, topped with a little bit of spicy mustard. Total calories for the day was right around 1,600. Tuesday, February 14th, start of the day, first meal was a pre-workout shake, the 1 cup of kefir, 1 scoop of protein powder, spinach, and mixed berries. Post-workout, once again, 175 grams of plain Greek yogurt, scoop of protein powder, and 140 grams of mixed berries. Had a little snack in the afternoon, just 4 Triscuits to tie me over. Dinner was delicious, rainbow trout, 2 fillets that was baked in the oven, a little bit blackened with some seasoning, some homemade fries that I topped with a little bit of ketchup, and some mixed veggies. Total calories for the day were right around 1,800. Wednesday, February 15th, start off the day with an extra cup of coffee in here. I usually have 2 cups of coffee with just a drop of 2% milk in each, but I've been getting up extra early this week. Had a training client once a month that I go to the gym, meet up with her, and put her through a new training program that she follows on her own afterwards for a few weeks. So getting up way earlier than I'm normally used to was starting to take a little toll on me by midweek here. So threw in that extra cup of coffee. Instead of adding milk to it, I added 2 tablespoons of a hot chocolate mix. So it's about 100 calories there for that. So start off the day with that, and then shortly afterwards had the pre-workout shake, which was a cup of kefir, scoop of protein powder, spinach, and mixed berries. Again, post-workout, 175 grams of plain Greek yogurt, scoop of protein powder, and 140 grams of mixed berries. Midday, needed a little snack, and there was some leftover rainbow trout, so I had some of that with a little bit of spicy mustard on top. Dinner was a chicken breast with some mixed veggies, and I had 2 slices of garlic toast in addition to that. So total calories for the day was approximately 1,800 to 1,900, which is pretty much spot on. Really, 1,900 is kind of my sweet spot for dropping a pound per week, especially when I have that little refeed on a Friday night. Thursday, February 16th, once again, had that extra cup of coffee with some hot chocolate in there. And then the first meal, once again, is the pre-workout shake, which is the 1 cup of kefir, 1.5 scoops of protein powder, spinach, and mixed berries. Now, what I've noticed throughout this cutting phase is that my protein intake has roughly been around 1 gram per pound body weight, sometimes even a little bit less. And I want to bump that up. A lot of the research shows that you should be up around 1.2 grams per pound body weight during a cutting phase. And the whole purpose of that is to assist with the muscle retention. So that, in addition to just taking a slower and steady approach as I'm getting leaner and leaner, that's been the way that I prefer to go through a cutting phase, is to start a little more aggressive when I have a little bit more body fat, and then the leaner I get, where the risk of losing muscle mass increases, you start slowing down the process. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm getting enough protein in here to not only aid with muscle retention. If I was a new lifter, having your protein intake up there and take a nice slow and steady approach, you may even assist with some body recomposition. But at this stage in the game, I pretty much need to be right around maintenance or even a slight surplus in order to experience some of those gains. But either way, experimenting with a higher protein intake right now. So added an extra 1/2 scoop of protein to my shake there. Post-workout, once again, was the plain Greek yogurt, and I added an extra 1/2 scoop of protein powder to that as well, along with 140 grams of mixed berries. Dinner was a burger, 2 burger patties that we grabbed from the butcher. Had that on 2 slices of whole wheat toast, topped with a little bit of ketchup, relish, mustard, and a little bit of cheddar cheese. Looking around 18 to 1900 calories for this day as well. Again, a very satisfying day of eating, and kind of felt good to bump up that protein intake. Friday, February 17th, once again, started the day with an extra cup of coffee there and half hot chocolate in there. Again, just trying to get through this week, needing that extra little boost in energy, a little less sleep. There's a few days where I've been trying to get to bed a little bit earlier, at 8 o'clock to make sure I'm getting enough sleep in there. But still, days a little bit longer, and I did have a couple of days, especially when I played hockey the one night, where I'm out later and having to get up earlier. I think it was Sunday night I was up late as well. So there's a couple of days where I only got about 5.5, 6 hours sleep, which really kills me. But most other days I try to get a minimum of 7, and there was a few where I actually got in 9 because I went to bed so early, around 8 o'clock. And the reason for that, I was just tired. I was spent. I was ready for bed at 8. So, but still, getting that little bit of extra coffee in me here just helped get me through the morning. Actually curbs the appetite a little bit in the morning as well. First meal, as always, that pre-workout shake, the 1 cup of kefir, 1.5 scoops of protein powder, so once again keeping that protein intake up, the spinach and mixed berries. Post-workout, instead of having the extra half scoop of protein powder, I increased the amount of Greek yogurt that I've been using. So that's the way I'm going to go from here on out. Is I don't want to try to, as much as I want to get my protein intake in, I don't want to rely completely on supplements. So I'm going to increase the food volume that comes from the plain Greek yogurt, which actually increases the calories even less than the protein powder. The protein powder, the extra half a scoop, would add about 60 calories, whereas I'm adding half a portion of the plain Greek yogurt only adds 50 calories. Roughly, I mean, it's a little less protein than the extra half a serving of the plain Greek yogurt gives me an extra 9 grams of protein, whereas the protein powder would give me, I think, about 14. So I'm losing about 5 grams of protein in there. Still, the food volume, I'd still rather get a lot of my calories from natural food sources. So post-workout was 260 grams of plain Greek yogurt, the 1 scoop of protein powder, and 140 grams of mixed berries. Dinner, this was totally unplanned. Initially I was thinking of just having some eggs cooked in coconut oil, no toast, just sticking with a high protein dinner. Friday, go with the guys, and knowing there's going to be some extra carbs in there, treating myself. I know it's my refeed day, so I usually try to keep my calories a little bit lower leading up to that. But surprise, surprise, everyone wanted pizza, and I really walked away with this feeling victorious. I enjoyed the pizza. I didn't feel left out from the family. I enjoyed the dinner with the family. I stuck with 4 slices. This is a monster victory for me because typically I'm looking at 10 to 12 pieces easily whenever we have pizza. So sticking to 4, and I actually felt satisfied. I'm actually about 10 minutes after having the 4 slices, like, man, that was like perfect. I loved it. I enjoyed it. When I have 10 to 12 slices, I'm stuffed silly, and realizing it's just not necessary. You can have a smaller portion size and still feel very, very satisfied. So that was fantastic. And at this point, I still had a fair amount of calories to play around with before going out with the boys. And I bought some pepperettes that I brought to the party. Those are roughly, I mean, they're again from the local butcher here, I think about 50, 60 calories per pepperette. Tough to say. Again, with a lot of these things, my calorie calculations here, the totals that I'm giving you are estimations, not exactly 100%. There's some meals where I'm measuring, like the Greek yogurt, the shakes. Some of the stuff that I can measure are pretty simple, but things like that, I'm just giving an estimate. As long as I have a good ballpark estimate here, that's the main thing, and especially I'm seeing progress and I'm consistent with what I'm eating and how I'm eating. Really listening to my body's responses, how full I am, how satisfied I am, all that kind of good stuff. So brought the pepperettes and had about 6 of those at the party. Another huge victory was that there was tons of desserts there. One of my buddies who's a host, he's a janitor at a school, there was a big bake sale, so there was cupcakes and chocolates and a whole bunch of stuff. And honestly, I wasn't even tempted by it. I was satisfied with the pepperettes, and I did have some veggie chips in addition to that. Certainly ended up in a surplus at the end of the day. Again, even with the pizza, I have no idea how many calories each slice of pizza was. Really tough to say. Each pizza joint kind of has their own little recipe type thing, I guess, and just really tough to tell where I was at. I was definitely in a surplus. There's no doubt about it. I was in a surplus. If I was to guess, it's probably around 3,000 calories at the end of the day, which would put me at about a 500 calorie surplus. Normally after that night out, the Friday night with the guys, my refeed day, I weigh in the next morning 3 pounds heavier. This is the first week where I only weighed 2 pounds heavier the next morning. So I did feel that I kept things under control a lot better than I normally do. Really great. Once again, I didn't have any alcohol. So during the 7-week cutting phase, there's only been one occasion, that one Friday night 2 weeks ago, that I had any alcohol with the guys. I had 4 drinks, and really that was all I needed. I don't really crave any right now. Don't really feel like I need any alcohol right now, and I really prefer to just completely avoid it during a cutting phase if possible. So lots of victories to take away from this night. I came home feeling full but not stuffed, so, and definitely ready to tackle the rest of the week. So feel satisfied that I don't need to treat myself anymore. I can really get down to business again. So great success from that day. Let's get to one more day remaining in the week. And the final day, Saturday, February 18th, once again started my day with that extra cup of coffee, half hot chocolate. Still being out late with the guys on Friday night didn't help me in terms of catching up on sleep. So I got to my plan over the next couple of days, kind of nip that in the bud, get back to regular sleeping patterns and not relying on this extra cup of coffee anymore. So we'll see how that goes over the next few days. First meal was, once again, the pre-workout shake. 1 cup of kefir, 1.5 scoops of chocolate protein powder this time. This is a blend, the whey concentrate and isolate, whereas earlier in the week, as mainly my shakes were made up of the just pure whey isolate. So the chocolate flavor along with a banana instead of the mixed berries and the spinach. Post-workout, once again, was the 260 grams, so serving in a half of the plain Greek yogurt, along with 1 scoop of protein powder and some mixed berries. Dinner, we had chicken and some mixed veggies, and then we went out to a party. So this is a very busy weekend here. It's actually a long weekend here. We got family day coming up, so planning on going to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet. We're really gonna have to reel things in. We're really gonna be careful with over the next couple of days. So I try to keep my calories a little bit lower throughout the day, knowing that we're going to this party, that we're gonna be some treats. So up to this point, pretty darn good. And Angie brought some of these cake balls from the local bakery. Not sure how many calories are in here. If you go by what MyFitnessPal says, some of them are like 140 each, some of them are 170. Really tough to say, especially depending on size and who the heck's making them. So I had about 4 of these, and actually there's a lot of trays. This is great. So most of the night, everyone's drinking. There was cake, there was lots of desserts, there was lots of chips, and I just brought I brought a coffee and water, lots of water. That's what I've been doing on dart night as well. When everyone else is drinking, I'm just having my water, my coffee. And the 4 cake balls just really tied me over. I was really good up to that point. And then it's like midnight, end of the night, we're getting ready to come home, and I saw the chips there. Really, I was hungry. I should have embraced that hunger. I probably would have been in a pretty aggressive deficit. I think up to this point I was below 2,000 calories, which put me at about a 500, 600 calorie deficit for the day. And I saw the chips, and we were talking, and I was kind of almost out of boredom. I was like, sure, I'm hungry, I need something. And I grabbed a few handfuls of those, which kind of decreased that deficit. It wasn't necessary. It was a learning lesson, especially right before bed. I was so close to having a really big victorious day. It's still, I feel victorious because of, it could have been a whole lot worse. I could have eaten a whole bunch more crap. I could have drank alcohol. I could have done a whole bunch of other things. So walked away victorious, but it could have been better. Either way, this is the week. Down a pound, really happy with the progress. Hope you've enjoyed the full week of training, the physique update that we shared on Friday. Once again, thanks for sharing this journey. I appreciate you big time. I appreciate the comments, the support. I love sharing this journey with you guys and following your experiences. We're all in this together. We're all growing and learning together. Thank you for that. Catch you next time.